Now let's learn what are the various functions of a bank. Number 1, they accept deposits from public and others. 2, they lend money to public in the form of loans and they also lend money to other institutions. 3, they transfer money from one place to another. When they are transferring money from one place to another, the key word for it is remittance. 4, they collect money on checks, drafts and bills. 5, discounting of bills. Discounting of bills is very important in trade. What do I mean by trade? I mean import and export of goods. Now for example, I am a seller of mangoes and I am exporting mangoes to Europe. Now there is somebody called Mr. X. He purchased mangoes from me and he is supposed to pay me 45,000 rupees. So he gives me a letter of credit from the bank. When I go to the bank and I give this letter of credit, after 30 days, the bank will give me 45,000 rupees. But suddenly after 10 days, my father fell seriously ill. Now I am in urgent need of money. What do? When I go to the bank told me they can give me 43,000 rupees. And the balance 2,000 rupees would be a fee. What is the fee in the bank called? Interest. Why are they charging me interest? Because I went after 10 days and not after 30 days. So they gave me the money but at a discount. So that is called discounting of bills. Now let's learn the next functions of the bank. Hiring safe deposit lockers. Like for example, if you want to keep something precious like gold jewelry, you can hire a locker and keep it safely in the bank. It also protects us from being worried about having a robbery at our residence. Conducting foreign exchange transactions. 8, keeping valuables in safe custody. 9, issuing letters of credit and guarantee. You all already know what is letters of credit. 10, conducting government transactions. What do they mean by conducting government transactions? Let's say the central government wants to give funds to the state government for flood relief. So this transaction between the central government and its state government is carried out by banks. There are 10 functions we learned. You all should know at least 5 with precise keywords, I repeat. Now let us learn the relationship between bank and customer. There are 2 main headings under which we will learn them. First, general relationship. Second, special relationship. In general relationship, we have 3. Primary relationship. Primary relationship includes the relationship as a debtor and creditor. What is the meaning of a debtor? The one who takes money is called debtor. What is a creditor? The one who gives money is called a creditor. Second, subsidiary relationship, that of a trustee and beneficiary. What is the meaning of trustee and beneficiary? For example, when you keep your money in the bank is supposed to take care of the safety of it. So it acts as your trustee. Third, agent and principal. Now for example, if you issue a check and give it to a person, when that person goes to the bank gives money on your behalf. So it is acting as a agent. So what are the 3? Primary, subsidiary and third one, agent and principal. Now let's look at special relationship. It's just 2. Obligation to honor checks. When you issue a check, the bank is obliged, meaning it's compulsory for it to honor it or give money for the value written in the check if that money is there in your account. Second, it has the obligation to maintain secrecy of your account. It cannot go and tell your account details to someone else. It is supposed to keep it secretive. Now, Let's quickly look at what are the services offered by a bank. First, debit card, credit card. Second, personal loans. Third, home and vehicle loan. 4, mutual funds. 5, safe deposit lockers. 6, trust services. 7, signature guarantee. You must be thinking, what is this signature guarantee? We will learn this when we go to the topic of opening an account in the bank. Lastly, e-banking. Okay students, now we are going to go into detail and understand what is a bank loan and how are these transactions carried out. Okay, any sort of activity involving money or exchange of money in an account, in a bank account, is viewed as a bank transaction. Important definition of a bank transaction. So when you exchange money from your bank account, that is a bank transaction. What are banks? They are institutions that deal with money. They keep the money of customers. How? We already learned that in the form of deposits, and they give it as loans. When it gives it as loans, it is called bank loan. Two important definitions here. What is a bank transaction? What is a bank loan? Both are very important from examination point of view. Banks lend money, and what do they get in return for it? They get interest. And whatever amount of money they get as interest, a part of it, they give it to the depositor. Okay, so it is advantageous if you keep money in the bank because you also get interest for it. Apart from it, banks also invest the customers' money in national and international business, and they increase their funds. All banking transactions in India are controlled by a mother bank. Any guesses on what the name of this mother bank is? It's there in the currency notes that you use. I'm sure you would have observed. Yes, you got it right. It is the Reserve Bank of India. It is also known as Mother of Banks or Bankers Bank. Why is it called Bankers Bank? So when we need money or when we want to deposit money, we go to the bank. What do banks do? They go to Reserve Bank of India. So it is called the bankers. So all these bankers also have a bank. Which is that bank? Reserve Bank of India. It's also called the Central Bank of India. It almost comes several times in the form of a fill in the blank or a 1-mark question saying who is the controller of the banks in India, or who is known as the Bankers Bank, or who is known as the Central Bank of India. You should know it particularly well. RBI or Reserve Bank of India also formulates the monetary policy which is followed by all the banks. What is the meaning of monetary policy? It is a policy that decides at what rate of interest should the bank give loans, at what rate of interest it should be giving its depositors interest, and so on. Now we shall learn some statistics about how many banks are there, what is their nature. We have the State Bank group. I mentioned about it to you. 20 nationalized banks, 21 private banks, and 19 foreign banks. Think of an example for each and put it in the comment section. The network of banks consists of 8,000 bank branches. There are rural banks, regional banks, government and private banks too. Now let me tell you about a very recent development. So the banking sector has included the postal department also in it. How so, you would say? Now if you imagine, in the ruralmost parts of India, there are post offices. So if the post office could also give banking service, imagine the banking service could reach to all of India. That's why they have been included into the fold of banking. So the Indian Postal Department is also planning to start a bank. What would their bank be called? The Postal Bank of India, so that they can reach the semi-urban and rural areas. The Department of Post also provides certain services of banking. For example, the Post Office Savings Bank, they issue National Savings Certificate, Kisan Vikas Patra, recurring deposits and so on. You must know at least 4 of them from the list of services given by a postal office. Okay. The Postal Department has set aside a capital or an investment of 1000 crores for bank transactions. It will be set up only as a subsidiary, as in secondary service in a postal department. Now we will learn the various types of banks in India. First is the mother of all banks. Do you all remember? Yes, the Reserve Bank of India. Second, commercial banks. These are banks that have profit as their main motive. Third, industrial development banks. These banks are very focused on giving loans and accepting deposits from industries. Next, land development banks. After that, there are indigenous banks. Indigenous means they are mostly your local money lenders, or also in the local language they are called Saukarauru. Lastly, we have cooperative banks.